Do the Right Thing came out the summer of 1989. And here we are at the beginning of a new century, beginning of a new millennium. And people all over the world still come up to me and ask me, did Mookie do the right thing? I'm gonna be honest. Not one person of color has ever asked me that question. Mookie threw the garbage can through the window, in my eyes, and I'm the author of this, because he just saw his best friend, Ray Rahim, get murdered by New York City's finest, NYPD. And here it is, 10 years later, and they are still doing the same thing. When we did this film, we were talking about Michael Stewart, Eleanor Bumpurs, now it's Louima and Diallo. So, not a lot has changed. I mean, for a lot of you people, maybe you were too young to see this film when it came out. But it was amazing what some of the press was trying to do. They were trying to whip up white hysteria. There was this thought that when this film comes out in the summer of 1989, black people are gonna run amok. It's like almost, they were hoping something would happen. You don't know how many people told me the fall of 1989, or even later when it came on videotape, how much they loved Do the Right Thing, but they were scared to see it in the movie theaters because of what they read in the papers and magazines and saw on television. This is by the late Jack Kroll, Newsweek magazine, July 3rd. It's called The Fuse Has Been Lit. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing is the most controversial movie in many years. To put it bluntly, in this long, hot summer, how will young urban audiences, black and white, he's trying to cover his ass right there, that's why he puts in black and white, react to the film's climatic explosion of interracial violence? Question mark. People are going to argue about this film for a long time. That's fine, as long as things stay on the argument level. But this movie is dynamite under every seat. Sadly, the fuse has been lit by a filmmaker tripped up by muddled motives. Article, Joe Klein, June 26, 1989. And I'm quoting. He's talking about the then mayor, David Dinkins, New York City's first black mayor. And now, unfortunately, Dinkins will have to pay the price for Spike Lee's reckless new film about a summer race riot in Brooklyn, Do the Right Thing, which opens on June 30th. Now, in parentheses, and not too many theaters near you, one hopes. Now, what the fuck is that? And not too many theaters near you. What you're saying, pray to God that this film doesn't open your theater so niggas is gonna go crazy. That's what he's saying. That's the subtext. Now, do white audiences go crazy at that time when they're going to see Terminator 1, Terminator 2, films are that much more violent? But we're such mental midgets that we can't tell the difference between what's on screen and what's in real life? Point number 2, white people are your enemy, even if they appear to be sympathetic. Like Sal, the pizza store owner, it is Spike himself in the role of Sal's delivery man who starts a riot by throwing a garbage can through the store's window. One of the stupider, more destructive acts of violence I've ever witnessed. Now again, there is no mention of the murder of Ray Rahim. For me, that was horrible to see a teenager choked to death. He doesn't even mention that. He thinks, Joe Klein, asshole, he thinks one of the stupid, more destructive acts of violence he's ever witnessed in a film is when I throw a garbage can through a window. Now, does a window breathe? Does a window gasp for its very last breath? And anytime I read a review by a critic and they talked about the loss of property, isn't it a shame that Sal's famous pizzeria was burnt to the ground and he lost his business? He'd been there in Bed-Stuy for 20-something years, providing a service to the community. And not one word was written about the loss of life. So when you read something like that from the Jump Street, you know where they're coming from. Because in their estimation, it doesn't even up. The life of one black thug, hoodlum, whatever you want to call him, potential rapist or mugger, versus white-owned property. They see this as more valuable. That is why they not even talk about Ray Rahim being murdered. That doesn't matter to them. It's just another nigga gone. We don't give a fuck. What we care about is white-owned property burnt down.